All right. Good morning, everyone. Looks like still got people kind of filtering in. All right. Guys, welcome to the trade findings and adjustments of December 5th. This is Keith Bybee. It's good to be with you again after a couple of weeks. Kevin, I think, as you know, has been doing some all-nighters and some hospitals to help his folks out after some surgeries. So I'm taking over today. I don't know if you guys remember, but the last one I did on a trade findings the 21st, November 21st. It was kind of a surprise. Hey, Keeve, I need you to go and do the trade findings class from Kevin. And I came on a little late, and thank you those of you who waited around for the 10 minutes to get things started. It was kind of a little haphazard as I wasn't really prepared, but I did throw on this suggestion for a Nike, which I don't think ever got posted because of the same issues that Kevin was trying to deal with with his family, coming from home from a hospital, staying overnight, yada yada yada. But if any of you had gone ahead and done this one, see the 21st right here, I think you would have been looking pretty good. So if there's any questions on that bull call on Nike, let me know. I imagine since it didn't get posted, not anyone was able to take advantage, but I did want to show that one. It wasn't one I was able to put on, but you know, just another one that I wanted to follow up on real quick. So this week's been kind of crazy. That's not what I want. I want to go over here, type in S&P, and after an awesome November, market kind of took a dive on the Friday, and everything for us went way up on the Friday and then went down on Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, and has come kind of back up. Or maybe I guess that is Monday, that's the 2nd. So yes, this little dot right here was Friday for the stock market, 29th. And kind of look at everything else. Apple kind of was flat. Visa went inched up a bit more, hitting 184 and change. So for us, Friday last week was awesome. Bank of America, I think, was one. I'm trying to remember everything that had it up. Nope. But either way, Visa was a good one Friday, and then everything kind of took a turn Monday after Trump once again does what he does. And we have a bit of a drop on Monday and Tuesday. So, I think Kevin's been around the block with that, talked about it a lot, so I won't go over that too much. We did have to do an adjustment on a Boeing collar trade. Oh, not Bank of America. Wants to predict my thoughts. Talked about it Monday. Had to pull the trigger and put some protection on. And let me just show you where we're at there. Pull it up. Let's see, Boeing. So Tuesday, we had put protection on 495, or excuse me, that's the short. Got filled at 14. Kevin went over that, I believe. Put a limit in for 10 and got filled over at 14. So kind of a crappy volatility spike that got filled. It was the one we just had to, felt like Boeing was one we needed to protect since there was more than just market volatility pushing it down. They had the FAA and other stuff like that that they have to, congressional hearings and whatnot that they got to go through. So then on Wednesday, to kind of help us with getting something back from overpaying on the long puts, I had put on the 330 short puts, and we got filled for just under 5 to kind of pare back a little bit what we had to spend the day before. So it's kind of sitting in between and hasn't continued too much to move down, but we're in a decent place there where if it gets down to a support level around 330, we'll be profitable on our 350 long puts. And these short puts should help expire, or if it heads up pretty quick, we can close them out and lessen our cost there. So just kind of a couple of days there where we're just kind of having to figure things out, give us some opportunity where we can guess wrong, which is kind of what it's all about. That's Boeing. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in, but I'm just going to kind of keep going to keep things moving. Kevin had thrown on a saved order for me to look at on AOBC. So let's check out that. Let me pull up his account here. So here we have his account. If you guys remember, I had put on originally an AOBC bull call where basically what happened was we were running through an earnings as well as what I'm looking at doing this time. They had fallen down. And long story short, we closed our short calls to see it come back up, and we're able to at least get close to the break-even price on our bull calls. So net we were positive with being able to close the short calls for for a profit. So this time, and of course it's had a nice run as well, but this time we still have what I would think is we've had, and this was kind of what I was thinking way back here, Democrat presidential debates through this time period, talking about gun control. Of course, people are just going to go and buy guns. So that's going to help out AOBC. And of course, as a another retail stock that we feel can still knock it out of the park and at least show a great quarter and kind of do the same thing. So let me look at just make sure there's no questions from you guys, but let's see what he's got here. So you can see it's had a 65-cent limit, and our mark is way up here at 72, market around 85 cents. So let me see if we can so that might not work, or at least it probably won't get filled. So I'm going to look at and copy this one. Let's just look at the next strike price. So 10 and 12. 10, 12 bull call. It's even at 52 cents. So it's even cheaper. Obviously, I just, all I'm looking at is the 65-cent limit price is just probably not going to get filled for the 9 and 11 bull call spread. So just taking a look at the next strike price up, we'll spend less. Obviously, if we had gotten filled, I mean, this was a saved order. It wasn't a sent order or a limit order that was sent. So, that's kind of a moot point. But if we were able to get that price, that would have made total sense. But seeing it bounce a bit today, I don't think that looks like it's going to happen. So obviously AOBC takes off after an earnings. The 9 and 11 spread would have worked better, but we're going to get a better price at this point in time with a 10 and 12. March 2020 10 long against a March 2020 12 strike short bull call. And I think that one could be cool. So we're going to be heading into East Coast lunchtime here. And I think if I just do a 52 cent, let's see if we can't get filled on a bull call here. Let me take a snapshot. Great risk to reward. All right, so take a snapshot of this as well. Doing 5 contracts, only risking 265 if you throw in the commissions and fees. Obviously, that's just gone, so really 260 and some change. So here it goes. Sent and we're filled right away. So there you go. Here is our order filled. All right. Get these put up. Any questions on this one while I'm putting these in? Let's see. Nope. I'm struggling. See, that's not the right one anyway. All right, let's try that. Nope. Yep. All right. There we have it. AOBC 10 and 12, 52 cents. Guys, any questions or thoughts or concerns? I'm gonna try and mess with my, here we go. All right. There you have it. Again, another retail. We've also had, hopefully some of you were able to do a target covered call, and I think Kevin had done a bull call around this point in time that would have been awesome to close for a profit. I did a covered call that expired, and then we rolled into a protective put through an earnings, which looked great. which worked great. Under Armour, kind of been struggling to get over a 50-day back over it, but on our collar trading side, we were able to get more shares from this drop from a earnings miss from analyst expectations, and it is struggling to get above 50-day, but that one's not looking too bad right now as it's popped from this 1750 range. So we'll see where that goes. Under Armour should do well through a Christmas rally, you would think. But those are some options for you guys. AOBC right now for today. Last chance for any questions or any thoughts. But if not, obviously this one's fairly straightforward if you've followed along and done any of the other bull call spreads throughout the year. Let's see, do you have a question? Do you have long puts on Under Armour? Currently right now we don't. We did through earnings, obviously. That's kind of the standard rule that we never miss. So that was the earnings here, and it fell. And pretty much right on this day after we added several hundred shares across several accounts and took puts off, or cashed puts in for shares rather. So no, not right now. We don't have puts on. Specifically for the reason I mentioned, obviously if it doesn't feel like or doesn't look like after a couple attempts here to get over the 50-day like it's going to get over, might add protection back on, but that is, if you've heard Kevin talking about protecting for the December 15th deadline on our trade tariff increase, hoping to get a deal before that point or push those off. That is the time frame we're wanting to get things protected. So we do have a little time to see if Under Armour can kind of test that, and or at least continue to test the 50-day to get over. But right now it's looking like it's going to hang around there and see if we can't get it protected around 19 or they're close dollars per share to protect for that event. But right now, just kind of letting it move around, see where it goes. Other questions? All right, guys. Not seeing anything come over, so it was good to be with you. Good to be with you this morning, and do have some more questions coming in. First question: Do you manage all of your clients' money as a group, or do you handle different clients differently? Yes. I guess some portion of both. Sometimes a new client that's come along will have to, we can't necessarily do the same exact things that we're doing with everybody else. If let's say we buy Apple, for instance, for them, they don't have the same cost basis, obviously, as everyone else. So we'll kind of have to manage it a little differently until the positions get somewhat similar, or eventually there's a point after a few weeks or months where we're just protecting everything at the same prices and doing that kind of thing as a whole. So yeah, those certain positions that are similar or the same as other clients, we're protecting the same. Where things kind of get different is different clients have different, obviously, risk profile. So that will change what we have, the positions that we have in their accounts. Maybe not as much tech exposure for some people, or what have you. Or the case is usually, obviously, not everyone can afford an Apple or Baidu, or at least Baidu when it was up at 200. Maybe more people can afford it now. But just throwing out examples, Apple, Visa, those are more expensive. Not everyone can afford that kind of stuff, and we'll do either leap long calls to try and get them in a similar position, or just cheaper stocks and that kind of thing. Sorry, I should have turned my notifications off. But yeah, it just depends on the account, the size of the account, the risk profile of the client. Let's see. Does that answer your question, Lee? I kind of was a little all over the place, but that basically sums it up. Another question, Ida, doing any bull calls on retailers for Christmas? Well, we kind of already did that, Ida. We did that for Target. That was kind of our retailer bull call, that we closed stock positions and rolled them into long calls after their earnings, and went up to 27 from, just pull up Target, from down at 112-ish, 115. Yeah, around here. I wouldn't expect Target to continue to knock it out of the park, so to speak, after such a run. They usually kind of goes flat sideways, have earnings go up, flat sideways, have earnings go up. Not that they couldn't. It's just that that's kind of how it's gone previously. But we do have a Christmas rally that could continue to push it up. You could do a leap long call, but really we were just doing that to book a profit on our shares of Target that were nicely profitable, and rolling them to long calls, leap long calls, was really just a matter of, if we guessed wrong and it continued to go up, that we'd want a little more profit from that without so much risk, and wanted to take profit on a shorter term trade investment in Target. But really, instead of a retailer, everything I've talked about today is for a retail, I guess, sector stock. AOBC is kind of a retailer. They have outdoors equipment and whatnot, not just guns and so forth. Nike, you would have wanted to do that a little sooner, but Yeah, I would just be looking at AOBC if you're looking at doing a bull call on a retailer, but you never know. Next week we might see some different things and talk about different things. So go ahead and throw that at Kevin when he comes on next week, Monday, Tuesday. Ask him again if you would. One more question. Lee asked, I think you do a lot of collars. Do you feel like those are primarily protective or will they make money? So collars are for big stock positions and how we manage clients' money, obviously. These trades are shorter term, knock it out of the park trades for smaller accounts, slush fund accounts like Kevin has that he's shown. Okay, so I think you're asking if we're primarily protected right now for those collar trades. But the answer is yes. Do you feel like those are primarily protective or will they make money? Yes, they will make money. Right now, we're not so protected on everything. I just showed you the Boeing one. That's pretty much the main big one we're protected on. But again, looking more till next week to see where we're at and see if we need to see about rather putting protection on for the December 15th deadline on the tariff increase against China. So if we get a China deal, obviously we're looking at shorting puts against our long puts to lessen the cost there, or just taking them off to lessen the cost. But if we get any kind of a first phase deal or a rollback, a pushback on the tariff deadline, yeah, I mean, even if we have protection on, we're going to be making some good money there. Does that in a roundabout way answer your question, Lee? Perfect. All right, guys. Any last questions? Looks like that's about it. Thanks again for joining me. Thank you for your thoughts and questions. And look forward to joining you with the Monday night market commentary with Kevin. Thanks, guys.